So this is fun. There's an Aussie politician from down under on the Barbie, eh? And so what's this guy's name? Alex Antic. Well, of course he's up to something. His name is Antic.
Yeah.
His name is Wiener. It's right in his name. Anthony Wiener. His name is Wiener.
That's like an old British criminal name, right? It's
Antic. What are you up to? Antic. He's up to stuff all the time. He's what kind of antics?
His family has a rich history of it.
Of being up to
antics.
Suri, what's the definition of antic? Hey Suri, what's the definition of antic?
Antic is an archaic term. It means grotesque or bizarre.
No, not really. Come on. It's from the 16th century Italian antico, meaning antique, used to mean grotesque. I wouldn't say that's what antics means.
Like if your behavior is grotesque, you have large behavior.
Yeah. Hey Suri, what's the definition of antics?
Antics means foolish, outrageous, or amusing behavior.
So antic is different from antics. Sorry, that was my fault.
Maybe he's an amusing antic.
So let's see. Maybe he's both. Maybe he doubles up. So he's got some shit to say, and I always like it. By the way, everybody, when I was in Australia, now it's going back 20 years I was there, everybody dressed nicely. The Aussies,
yeah,
they always had the pastels and the nice, everybody dressed, I mean, where I was in
Melbourne. It wasn't
Melbourne.
like the Simpsons episode where like he's in a tire in a river, the president of Australia.
No. Everybody they really pulled themselves together. And this was 2004 or 5, so maybe things have changed. But anyway, that's what made me think about this guy. Okay, here we go. Ready?
Anyone who's been paying even the slightest amount of attention can see that many of the so-called experts have been wrong on virtually every point in the last 2 years, from lockdowns to the injections being safe and effective. Bureaucrats like to keep the fear alive to solidify their own importance and therefore their own funding. And if there's one word I never want to hear again, it's modelling.
Oh.
When was the last model that was proven in hindsight to be accurate? It's not just the...
Certainly wasn't Amber Heard. Different kind of model.
COVID experience which bells the cat on the rise of big government. One only has to look...
So what he's talking about, the modeling he's talking about is the modeling that came out of the UK, and I'm forgetting the name of the institution, but they were the ones that were modeling, saying about how we should do lockdowns and because of their models showed this, and they were all wrong. So that's what he's talking about. And those are the models that guys like Fauci used. Right.
The intrusions by government into our lives in areas like the climate, the surveillance state, and the rise of the quasi-state operatives. The apparatchiks of the big government ethos in universities, in schools, the woke corporate sector, and its insidious ESG agenda. Politicians must stop simply enforcing the whims of bureaucrats and the so-called experts. We exist to serve you, the Australian people, not to control your lives. There's an old biblical teaching which states, "The greatest among you shall be your servant." This is the basis for the Western ethos of political leadership. In the entire history of mankind, there has never been a bureaucracy which is sincerely and genuinely concerned about people. Always question everything. Always look for ulterior motives. Why have they allowed Australians to be vilified? Why have they allowed Australians to be thrown out of jobs and discriminated against?
So he has to, this is what the culture, this is the climate in the West now, is that you have to remind people to question authority because that became a bad thing because of Trump. So this is radical what he's saying. I'm going to guess this guy's probably a right winger from Australia.
And then their right wing is something far left here too.
Well, yeah.
What is he for? National health care? Some crazy.
Of course they all are.
I know. I had that guy Leo on, and he's saying all the low taxes and I'm like, well, what about healthcare? It was obviously healthcare you get with your like that's not even in their debate.
No, the most right wing guy in Australia is going to be for national healthcare.
Yeah, right.
Unlike here in the United States. All right, here we go. So you're saying is this guy's a right winger, probably to the left of Joe Biden.
Because they care so much about our safety, or is it something else? something more sinister. Nobody should ever take the risk on the promise of being granted their freedom back. This is the stuff of tyrannical authoritarianism. And I hope Australian politics realises that Australians have had enough of having their lives run by people far removed from them. This is Australia, not the People's Republic of China. We should be governed by the lowest and least centralised level of authority as possible to preserve our basic freedoms, including freedom of movement, speech and choice. It's time we scaled back the power of these bureaucracies, and it's time that politicians who say they love this country to go out and prove it. It's time we drain the billabong.
I don't know what that last point means.
That is a real Australian way to end that speech.
Yeah, the billabong. Wasn't that like a surfing company? I used to have a teacher that said billabong. He said it's time to drain the billabong. I don't know what kind of pot he's smoking.
Time to change the billabong water.
So that's what I'm saying. So this guy's name is Alexander Charles Antic, and he is an Australian politician who has been a senator for South Australia since 2019, representing the Liberal Party.
But I think that might be right wing there or something.
Yeah, it's probably. Well, it is here too, by the way.
Right. But how the toilet flushes opposite, that's how they're. I heard that a long time ago. That meant they were more to the right.
Oh, he's well known for his positions on freedom and conservatism values. So.
Yeah, right.
But most Democrats are a conservative right wing party, also. So
yeah,
he would fit right in. Except not that stuff he was saying there. Isn't it weird to defend liberal values? It's only coming from conservatives. Isn't that weird?
We understand that we're at war with them at all times, and that we have to stamp them out of existence. And if you're not with us, you're against us, and treason. I guess that's what you're not thinking about.
You just have to understand that we hate half the country at all times. We're at war with them, and we can never talk to them. Or that's how cults work, right? They don't let you. They tell you who you can talk to and who you can't talk to. That's how prisons work.
Yes, prison. I always think that's what it is. Is you get everybody divided by their identity,
by the identity,
and then you go this you can use this part of the basketball courts belong to the Dominicans, and then this belongs to the whites.
Nazis get the weightlifting and
and then real petty stuff you got to fight to the death over. Like who had dreads or something. That's what
that's what politics is
set up for
in the United States is right now.
Yeah. It better stay that way.
That's like that stuff. Like when I interviewed that Boogaloo Boar, how dare you?
Yeah, you crossed the wrong line in the showers to the other.
That's what that was.
Caused a prison riot doing stuff like that.
That's what that is.
Yeah.
Hey, we're coming to Tulsa, Oklahoma City, Detroit, Los Angeles, Spokane, Tacoma, Denver. Go to jimmydorecomedy.com for a link for all our tickets for all our live shows. See you there.